Welcome back to the 19th hole, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Jake here, as always, joined by Keith. We are coming off of the Zurich Classic, Zurich Championship. I'm sorry. It was a classic tournament, especially for a certain family. But Keith, how did you feel about the event as a whole? I know we'll talk about it in a little bit here, but as a whole, good time, fun time? Didn't watch it at all?
It was a good time to hang out with the family, went and celebrated my niece's 6th birthday party. I didn't watch very much of it, and I feel guilty because I'm the one that's always defending, like, we should have these, non-normal events. But, I mean, they've got to do something about the schedule when they're going to have a team event. Like, how can you have a team event when nobody's going to play and expect people to go, well, just because you put together 2 guys that nobody cares about, that doesn't make them a team that somebody cares about. So I hate that I didn't watch it, but just to be honest, I didn't. We went to the Braves game Sunday, had a good time. Go Bravos. They won again. But, I'm happy for the Fitzpatricks. It's a really cool story. Alex wasted no time being like, yeah, I'll be in the field this week. No problem. I ain't got nothing going on. While Matt's like, man, this is my 3rd win in like the last 2 months. I'm going to take a little break, a little siesta.
Yeah, well, speaking on it, let's actually just hop right into it. So obviously, as we've alluded to here, the Fitzpatricks took home the win over here in Zurich. They set a record. They shot a 57 on the best ball portion on Saturday. Just an insane round. And honestly, like, people are dogging this event on Twitter, and they're getting, all up in their feelings about Alex earning a tour card. Like, they used more of his birdies on Saturday than they used of Matt's. Like, he played phenomenal golf. He's won a DP World Tour event. He was pacing to be on tour next year anyway. And yes, it's a team event. And yes, it's not the field that we're used to. But let's be honest here. It's the strictest cut on the PGA Tour. 80-some people didn't make the weekend, and they still went out there and won. And it's not like they just walked home with this. Like, this was down to the 18th hole on Sunday when Matt had to hit one of the toughest bunker shots when you factor in the pressure and everything that's going on with it, to stick it to 1.5 feet to give Alex a nice little tap in to win the event. Like, that was a ballsy shot. That took a lot of chutzpah to be able to side spin it that far out of a bunker, knowing that you have all of this room in front of you. It's going to funnel down to that pin, but no, you're just going to fly it to the pin with some side spin, with some fade spin on it, and just stick it to 1 foot.
That's exactly what I would have done in that situation. So let's just get that out of the way. No, it was awesome, man. Like, I really am happy for him. And for the people that are upset about Fitzpatrick, like, man, we have become such a hater society. Like, it's outrageous. Like, this is a great story. To your point, he was 6th on the DP World Tour merit. The top 10 get a PGA Tour card. That's how, like, Jordan Smith, and there's a lot of other Europeans you're watching right now. That's how they got on. They didn't get on Smith, from Marco anything other than just, finishing in the top 10 for the DP season.
And let's clarify here. It's not even like it's just the top 10 players every year from the DP World Tour get to come over, because we have guys like Rory. Mm-hmm. We have guys like Matt Fitzpatrick who play enough DP World Tour events and play well enough in them that they end up in the top of the board either. It's like 6 to 8 guys per year that qualify through that as it is. So to get a win, who cares how he did it? The man earned his place. Like, are we going to say that Michael Brennan doesn't deserve to be here because he won 3 PGA Tour America events? No. Are we saying these college kids that are winning college events don't deserve to be here? No, we're not. Like, guys go out and win 7 times in college. Like, Jackson Coyvin's already got a PGA Tour card waiting for him. The dude's got like 6 wins this year. Are we going to complain when he's on tour next year? No, just be happy for the dudes and let the family aspect of this be fun.
Again, we're just all drinking haterade. I mean, that's pretty much what it is at this point, is everyone just It's unreal. Like, it's an accomplishment. I love the fact, this is one of my favorite parts about golf. Like, just like on the Corn Ferry, if you win 3 times, you don't have to wait. You're
Right.
automatically in the show. And that's what's always been cool about the PGA Tour is, say you get a sponsor's exemption or you Monday qualify to a PGA Tour event. If you finish top 10, you get to keep this train running right on down the road.
Right.
Because it automatically gets you in the next field. Like, that's what I love about golf.
That's what people were so hyped up for earlier this year when we saw Blades Brown leading a tournament after 3 days. Everybody's like, oh, let's watch this 18-year-old get a card.
Yep. I mean, so it's just, I think it just depends on who we're talking about. People, for whatever reason, still don't like Matt Fitzpatrick, which I don't get. Dude seems awesome. And there's American as apple pie. Like, they went to school in the U.S. They still live in the U.S. Their parents vacationed here growing up. Like, what are we doing, man? So
we've seen Alex Fitzpatrick. We've seen Alex finish top 20 in a major. Yeah. Like, it's not like the dude is just, it's not like he's his brother who's like a middling mini tour pro who's out there like trying to break par every week just to make $500 on a mini.
This isn't Bronny James, for God's sakes. Come on, people.
Yeah. So it was just awesome to see. It was a great win. It was a lot of really good competition. A couple teams that we talked about, made some noise on the show last week, made some noise. The Chris brothers that aren't brothers at all, but Christopher Rayton and Chris Ventura had some great rounds. Alex Smalley, Hayden Springer had a great event. Zach Bachot, who we brought up on the show, made a hole-in-one during the best ball portion of the event. So they got to card a hole-in-one in a team event, which is pretty sick. Like, we got a lot of really good golf throughout the weekend. So people can dog on this event all they want. My only complaint would be, as you said, find a better spot for it in the schedule.
100%. Like, let's do better, because I think team events are fun.
Exactly. Speaking of fun, we get a new nickname. I'm calling her Nelly Cannonball Korda now. Nelly goes wire to wire, wins her 3rd LPGA major, reclaims the spot as the #1 female golfer in the world, got the Cannonball into the pool at the side of the green at the Chevron Championship, since they no longer have that pond there that people could jump into. It's tradition. We got to see Nelly do the Cannonball, but I mean, a wire to wire win in a major of any caliber, regardless of tour, is super, super impressive. To be able to say that you took the lead on Thursday and never gave it up is damn impressive. And I don't care who you are, what tour you're playing on, what event it is. Hell, this could be like the net event that I played in on Sunday at my club. Like, if you take the lead on the first hole and don't give it up through the rest of the 36, if you make the afternoon, more power to you.
Yeah, more power to. She is the next big thing. And I know that it kind of feels like we've already been there, but I truly believe we're just seeing her reach kind of the peak of her powers.
Yeah.
And she has another like level that just so many of these other ladies who are excellent players have, definitely took the top spot on tour. But this feels like a Tiger, Scheffler, even Annika back in the day, like statement of like, okay, we're here. Like, I know it took a little while. There's been some bumps along the road from injuries and other things, and she just figuring out how to win just like anybody else does on any major tour. But there's been 2 people all year on the LPGA Tour that have entered an event with her and beat her, because literally she's finished runner-up twice and then all dubs. Like, this is the Nelly Korda Tour, and she's excited.
Been in the final group in every event that she's played in this year. I mean, there's nobody on the PGA Tour that can say that. There's nobody on Live that can say that. There's nobody on the DP World Tour that can, there's nobody else in the world who can say they've been in the final pairing, final group of every event they've played this year.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So she's got the best golf swing in golf too. Like, I could watch her hit golf balls all day long. And I think the majors are going to start really piling up now. Like, I think this was one of those marks, because to your point, she had complete and total control. And she's done that in other majors where she got out early, fast start, had the lead, and has not been able to hold on to it, because it's hard to win golf tournaments, people. Yeah. It's really hard. You add major championships, it's even harder, even for people at her level You have to learn how to win on these major tours. And it seems like she has the blueprint now. And just, I mean, like some of the, every time it got close Saturday or Sunday, which I did watch actually a good bit of her golf this weekend, but she would just answer, right? Like, and it was usually with just ball striking dominance, like all those par fives she was hitting into, just routinely two putting for birdies. And just every time she needed to hit one close, she did. But I'm a big Nelly Korda fan. I hope they let her do some PGA Tour stuff like what we saw with Annika back in the day, because I mean, I think that not only can she actually compete and make a cut like, Annika did, I think that she might get even, maybe top 10, top 20 one of these events. You get her on a course where length is not the end all be all.
Right. Yeah. If you get her somewhere like a TPC Deer Run, if you get her some, any of these courses that, either don't break 7,000 yards or just a hair over, like, I mean, I've seen the TaylorMade marketing videos that she does, and she's got 280, 290 in the bag if she needs it. Like, she's got plenty of speed. She knows she just doesn't need to do it every event. And like you said, this is just a proven winner at this point. Not like she wasn't before, but to have an entire winless year after being as successful as she was, and then to come out and have the start that she's had to 2026. I mean, we're talking about somebody who won her first professional event that she ever played at 10 years ago at the age of 17. Like, we're talking about just an elite golfer in every sense of the term. But, people still want to knock for whatever reason. Guys, we saw Tiger go through winless stretches. We've seen Jack went through winless stretches. Arnold.
People were asking what was wrong with Scotty when he didn't finish in the top 8 twice for the first time in a year.
And it's us. We're people. We're like, what's going on with Scotty?
Something's wrong.
Like, Nelly deserves every bit of respect on her name that she could possibly get. But guys, we know that the Cadillac Championship is coming up this week, so we want to make sure to get you some information on that. So let's get the caddy notes ready and start talking about Doral's Blue Monster. Now, guys, before we start talking about the Blue Monster course over at Doral, I want to make sure to shout out the IBT Golf family. The IBT Golf family is our brand new chance to gain access to our analysts, memorabilia giveaways, as well as potentially our full betting cards. For free, you can gain membership, which gives you access to those chats, memorabilia giveaways, as well as contests such as our PGA One and Done contest. But our upgraded membership for only $3.99 a month or $36 for the year gets you full access to our weekly betting model and our full weekly betting cards as well. And this also includes access to our football family, racing family, and entertainment family. So make sure you do not miss the opportunity to learn as much as you can about all of the different sports and activities that we cover here over at In Between. So you can follow or find that at in-betweenmedia.com/chat or with the link in the episode description. But with the Blue Monster course at Doral, talk about a fitting name. 7,700 yard par 72, the longest course on tour by over 100 yards. Bermuda greens throughout, 110 bunkers in play, 10 holes where water comes into play and is a danger spot for players. And it's a course that comes with comparative courses such as Bay Hill, Quail Hollow, Torrey Pines, Bethpage Black, PGA National. Like, I get that we haven't seen Doral on the PGA Tour for a few years now, but this is certainly a test for players, and it's one that's going to be really fun to watch. We have seen it via Live over the last couple of years as it was the host of Live Miami. However, back on the PGA Tour, it's projecting to play as the third hardest course that players will see this year. Does that surprise you at all to hear, Keith?
7,700 yards? No, it does not. It's been a long time, right? This was one of the staples on the PGA Tour for forever. Like me growing up, I look forward being a Tiger mark to see Tiger Woods win at Doral what felt like every year because he won 7 times over like a 12-year period. But a lot has changed in a decade. One thing that is not, 7,700 yards is still a long freaking way. So these guys and it's not just a 7,700 yard golf course where bomb away. There's water everywhere. The last time they had a tournament here, most hazard balls and the most reloads, meaning unfortunately this is not where you can go up there, take your drop, get your distance. These are a lot of lateral hazards where you're hitting it in the water and then having to re-tee from said so far from the green. So that's no fun. But it's just a great track, and it's one that can play really difficult. They redesigned it in 2014. That first year, over 300 golf balls found the water when they redesigned it. They only made it 2 more years before, obviously, we took that decade-long break. But I'm looking at it as a venue that obviously you need distance. Duh. If it's that long, you're going to have it. And I mean, this is real distance because forget, this is, at sea level. And of course it can get really windy too.
I was going to say it's coastal Miami. Like there could be a day depending on the wind where actual what did they call it on projected
they used the great that graphic.
It could be an 8,000 yard golf course easily with the wind and the way that it can pick up here. It's certainly not a course that we're shaking a stick at in any means. This is going to be a test. When it comes to kind of what you looked at statistically this week, what were some of the kind of key focuses for you?
I mean, but driver distance for sure. You need to be able to move it. But it's equally as important, if not more important, to excel at your long irons. I mean, think about it. If it's a 7,700 yard golf course, I don't care if you're the longest guy on tour, you're still going to have a lot of approaches of 175, 200 plus yards.
Yeah,
greens.
I think it was around 60% of approaches will come from 200 yards or farther out.
It's a lot of 7 woods and 5 woods for your boy, but and obviously scrambling is a big factor because once you start hitting approaches from 225 yards into every green, you're going to miss a lot of them. So that's a big deal. I really also looked at guys that avoid big numbers because this is an event that, yes, we had, I think, a 12 under winner the last time that they had it with Adam Scott. The 2 previous after the renovation were in the mid single digits. Like we're talking 4 and 6 under par. So that will open up to more guys in the field because obviously the deeper it gets, you're going to probably need that extra gear to get 9, 10 under par. But if it's something that plays really tough, like the year Patrick Reed won it, somebody like Patrick Reed can win, right? Like Patrick Reed is not the kind of person that you would think of for a super long golf course.
Exactly.
But if you're bringing in the fact that you just got to kind of, stay steady, not make a lot of big mistakes. And the easiest way to do that is to put multiple balls in the water, which there is water everywhere here. So I did look at, driver distance. The comp courses were the big one for me this week, like especially some of those comp courses that you read off. Like the big ones for me were Valhalla, Bethpage Black, Quail Hollow, and obviously the Arnold Palmer Invitational. But what I really like about 3 of those is they've had majors there. And that's what this feels like because the majors always play longer, right? And that's a super strong field, obviously, if it's a major championship. So if guys kind of could check off the boxes where, they played good here, they played good there, they got a lot of movement up to the top. But just reminder, this is basically like a new venue. So there is no secret formula. None of us really know. We're all flying blind, trying to figure out, what gives us the advantage, what we're looking into. But this is a shoot your shot week. Like there is no data out there that says this is the correct way to attack, a betting card or, your DFS lineup for this venue.
Right.
So just, again, listen to what you think it is, read about the venue, and then, kind of take your shot.
Yeah, exactly as you said. So I focused a little bit. I gave some recent form weighting, so kind of strokes gained total over the last 16, and then I have your standard, strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained tee to green on long, very long courses, overall approach from 200 plus, your bogey avoidance, 3-putt avoidance, driver distance, kind of everything that you said there. Nothing too crazy, but I did put more weight than I typically would on some of those comparative courses, just because, again, it's essentially a new course data wise to the PGA Tour. So it sounds like we're on a very similar page here. I know we're on a few players as well together. So let's get these clubs twirling and get talking about our cards for the week. All right, and we're going to talk about the cards, but before we do, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Wanna Parlay. Wanna Parlay gives us fun and exciting competition that connects people. If you guys are interested in Wanna Parlay, make sure you check it out. You can use promo code IBT to get a 100% deposit match up to $250. You can 1,000 extra money. You can get instant withdrawal on the app as well. So make sure you check that out. The link will be in the episode description. But Keith, with the books this week, even though this is a signature event, this is a softer field comparatively for most signature events. We have 5 players in the top 15 will not be here this week. So we do see, obviously after Scotty, we see some pretty fair odds, I think, kind of throughout the rest of the board. We have one guy being Cam Young who jumps up into that, mid-teens or early teens range. But past that, pretty much everybody is 20-1 or longer throughout there. So we're going to see some interesting numbers on some of these players this week, especially some guys who, maybe we've gotten them cheaper in the past, but the recent form has bumped them up. Maybe guys who we've paid up for in the past and recent form is bringing them down a little bit in the odds. But let's start out here right at the top with that guy that I mentioned over here, Cam Young, 13-1. I know this is a guy we're both in on this week. When I ran my model on him this week, over the last 16 rounds, he leads the field in strokes gained total. He's second over the last 36 strokes gained tee to green, second strokes gained tee to green on long, very long courses. Like, really, he doesn't have a major weakness in the model. You could argue his bogey avoidance. He's a hair below field. He's kind of right around field average with it. But once you look past that statistic specifically, the dude's basically top 25 in everything else across the board.
He's a freak, man. I'm very happy what he's doing. Obviously, he's got plenty of power. He's, top 5 on tour and driving distance. So the link's going to be no problem for him. It's really good on the approaches from 200 plus. That's something that actually is tending in the right direction too. He started the season not great with his long irons. They've been getting better as the season goes on, and he makes a bunch of birdies. He's 13th birdie or better, but 5th in bogey avoidance. That's a deadly combo. And Cam's a pretty easy sell right now. I will say though, the more I've thought about it, the more I think I am going to bet Scheffler this week. This is a Scotty Scheffler event. We saw Tiger Woods when he was the clear best player in the world win this event 7 times. Scotty Scheffler is the clear best player in the world, with the advantage of some of the other best players in the world are not here. Like that guy Rory and stuff, which if we remember at Augusta, he still finished second. Scheffler, the comp courses is where it really is at for me. Bay Hill, right? The one that we see every year, 6 in a row, top 25. He's won it twice with 3 top 5s. He won the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. He obviously finished 8th at Valhalla, getting arrested. So just in the last 2 years, he won an event on a comp course when it was playing super long and finished 8th in the other one. He probably would have won it if he wouldn't have got arrested in between his first and second round. And then even if you go all the way back to Torrey Pines in the 2021 U.S. Open, before Scotty was Scotty, he finished 7th there.
Right.
And I think Scheffler he's that dog, man. He wants to win. He is a competitor.
Yep.
I don't think he loves that Fitzpatrick has won 3 times and he lost in the playoff. I don't think he loves that Rory McIlroy got the Masters and I just think that there's a very good chance he goes out and wins this event and wins it fairly easily. So I think I'm getting close to where I would love for that number to creep up just a little bit,
I
but
would
even if it's at plus 350, I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, if it was at like 5-1, 6-1, I'd probably be all over it. But the books are not going to let us get that number as of right now. But we have some other, this is a week where we're certainly heavier on the favorites than we have been in the past. So we have Russell Henley popping up here as well. 28-1 on BetMGM. If you only have FanDuel or DraftKings available, DraftKings 25-1, FanDuel 27-1. So still good numbers there. He's a guy that I was a little bit surprised to see pop in the model, just given the lack of distance comparatively, given the distance on the course. He struggled as well this year with the long iron approach. Overall approach proximity is 64th in the field from 200 plus. But much like I said, Cam Young is pretty much top 20 and everything else. Russell Henley's top 10 in most of the things that we're looking at this week. And even when he's not top 10, it's like 13th in strokes gained tee to green this year in this field, 17th around the green, 14th birdie or better. But he leads the field in strokes gained total over the last 36 on the comparable courses, 5th in 3-putt avoidance, 7th in putting, 3rd in bogey avoidance. Like, outside of the lack of distance, you really can't find a fault in Henley this week.
No, and it's a deal where if this plays really difficult, like what we saw when he won at Bay Hill, what was that, 2 years ago against Colin, he's got a great chance to win this event. Like if this plays like your Qual Hollow PGA Championship or, even the Valhalla one to a certain extent, I think Henley has a great chance. He's somebody that excels at hanging around. I actually played a golf tournament at Green Island in Columbus, Georgia, great track that Henley is a member at. And they said he has been there working nonstop over the last couple of weeks on the range. So maybe he's trying to get those long irons dialed in because if, again, he's normally an elite long iron player. And we know that he excels on Bermuda golf courses. Like he's so good on these all the way through Bermuda courses. And there's not any rain in the forecast, which would be my other concern. Like if it was going to get a lot of rain and soften the course, I'd be worried. It's going to play crusty, just like it does at, Bay Hill or Arnold Palmer. I think that's only going to help Henley maybe not make it play. Instead of playing 7,700 yards, they'll play 7,550 or something.
Exactly. We've also got Chris Gotterup here. You can get him I got him as good as 35-1. Those odds have definitely shifted now. I got him at 35, but he's 27-1 now on DraftKings, 25-1 on FanDuel, kind of the inverse of Henley on those two books there. But again, a guy whose game is really trending in that direction of being able to compete week in and week out. Really, the thing's kind of holding him back. We haven't seen as much of him on these comparative courses. So the total strokes gain number kind of lags him a little bit in the model for me. And then just birdie or better wise, he hasn't really gained a ton of birdies on the field. He's kind of birdieing the holes he's supposed to, not really, picking up elsewhere. But the dude mashes the ball. Tee to green, he's still been, 5th in the field over the last 36 rounds. Plays long, very long course as well. This is his best putting surface. He's a top 10 putter on Bermuda in the field. He avoids those 3 putts. He's really good off of the tight lies that we're going to see around the greens a lot here. So I'm in on Gotterup. I like him a lot more at the 35 number that I got earlier this week rather than the numbers that we're seeing now. But it's certainly still a viable play in my mind. What do you think?
He's my favorite bet, like value-wise. Again, you said the big thing. He is 9th putting on Bermuda over the last 2 years. This is not a small sample size. This is one of the best Bermuda putters in the world. He talked about when he had that little lull, I guess we'll call it, in the middle of the season because he wasn't winning every other week, that he just couldn't wait to get back to Bermuda greens because he struggles with Poana, he struggles with bent. He was like, you get me on a Bermuda green, I feel at home. That's a scary thing when a guy is 9th tee to green, 8th off the tee, 4th in driving distance, and you're putting him on a surface that he is an elite putter on. And on top of that, he dominates par fives, which is a huge thing this week because on a course like this, you have got to take care of the par fives. Like that's why I also feel very good about Scheffler this week because he's still elite about always birdieing the par fives, Gotterup's in the same boat. No matter how far you hit it, you've got to make fours on the fives to compete this week.
Absolutely. I normally talk about this next player, this elite first name haver, but I'll let you talk about Jake Knapp this week. 29-1. He was a name that you brought up in our group chat over here. And I'll let you talk about him because I have some concerns, but I'll let you start us off.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad that you let me talk about him first before you just said that I was all over. I've faded away from this play since my initial look. He struggles so much on all Bermuda courses. Like the numbers are just not good enough. He has not really thrived either on some of these really difficult long courses. Like you would think that would be the kind of courses that he would excel at. Mm-hmm. That has not been the case so far. Like he's kind of struggled in these really strong fields, really difficult courses. And then on top of that, like I said, Bermuda is just not his best surface. Like his numbers kind of fall off a cliff. So I have kind of gotten away from this play. I'm still okay if you want to play him in like DK, for, an MME event here or there, or even you want to do a prop bet on him. Maybe, he figures it out this week, but I don't know if the distance is going to be enough to make up all the shortcomings in other areas this week.
Yeah. And I do want to say, I still like Knapp this week. However, I think he's a different golfer than he has been in the past, right? Like we've seen a lot more consistency out of Jake Knapp this year which I think is huge. But however, I'm seeing reports that it looks like he's dealing with some type of wrist injury. People who were following him around today said he didn't really take a full swing in the few holes that they were following the group. He was chipping and putting, holding his wrist, after tee shots. Just so some of the rumors of the injury are certainly taking me off Knapp this week. I'm probably going to even go as far to say I probably won't roster him as much as I would love to in DFS lineups this week, just because that injury could be potentially holding him back. A wrist injury is nothing. It's not serious as a golfer, especially.
I think it's the worst for golf. That is just so bad because your timing and everything, release the club, all that is involved with your wrist.
And it's his lead wrist too, which is it'd be one thing if it was his right wrist. Right. Like you can compensate a little bit more if it's your trail hand, but with your lead hand, that's so important just to, having that connection, feeling the club face. Like if you're worried about what your front wrist is going to do, like, can you even feel where your club head is? It's certainly a concern. And, we've already seen Patrick Cantlay withdraw this week. Mm-hmm. It would not surprise me if these rumors are true that we see Jake Knapp out by the time, the tee times start.
And he Thursday. Should. Right. Like I know this is a big event and everything, but we got like the real strych is coming up, starting in 2 weeks. We got a major
in like 2 weeks here. So yeah, it's important to be healthy. So certainly, if he withdrew, it would not be a surprise to me. But really, as we look at the cards here past him, it seems like both of us have kind of faded the mid tier a little bit. There's a big stretch of golfers here, and I think they are all fairly valued. Like I can make legitimate arguments for a lot of guys in this mid range, kind of from 30 to 65 ish. You can make strong arguments for everybody, but you have just as many holes in the game as you do with some of the longer odd players. So I'm leaning into more of those plays this week. Do you feel the same, or some of these mid-tier guys?
Where is Adam Scott's odds at now? Because he is somebody I do want to bet.
I do like Scott as well. He was a call out in my DFS article this week. DraftKings, you can get him 42-1.
Yeah, because Scott, obviously he won here the last time. He's technically the defending champion a decade ago, which again, a lot has changed in 10 years. One of the things we did not have on our bingo card, he's much longer now than he was in 2016. He's gained distance at
45.
No sense. And in 2026, he's fourth overall in iron play. He's first in proximity of 200 plus yards. So those two huge checks, obviously there. And then it's not like just that he was good at Doral that 1 year. The previous 5 starts heading into his win, 6th, 13th, 3rd, 4th, 11th win. He likes this venue very, very much. And again, Tiger Woods won here 7 times. And I just think that he's a very safe play because not only does he obviously feel familiar with the course, not only is he as good as there is from 200 plus yards and has been for a long time, but like he is as long as anybody on tour now. So nobody's going to gain big strokes from him off the tee. I think Scott's a really good value anywhere, in that 35, 40 to 1 and up. I feel comfortable, pulling the trigger on that.
Absolutely. I can't really argue against it. Next up for me, Gary Woodland, 72 to 1. Maybe this is riding the feel good train a little bit. And, Gary Woodland still certainly got his holes in his game, but the dude's 5th in this field in driving distance over his last 16 rounds. Perhaps most importantly to me, the recent form, he's 4th in this field in strokes gained total over his last 16. He does hover, middle of the pack in a lot of things. However, tee to green, he's still really strong. Still, Bermuda's his best putting surface. He's top 20 in the field in Bermuda putting. He's still 3-putt avoiding well. He's average outside of the distance in this field. But like you said, if we get one of those days where the wind kicks up and the field's, the field is losing strokes, like it's not going to surprise anybody, I don't think, who is knowledgeable about this course to say that there's a legitimate chance that this course plays over par every day. And we're only going to see a handful of guys who can get under par. A guy with Woodland's distance who can putt well on this surface are one of the few like contingents of players that I can see gaining birdies on a day where the rest of the field is playing above par.
No, I love this. I think it's just really good value getting him 70 to 1 because he's already won this season. So, and look at the finishes around that. It's not like it was just a one good finish. I think he's finished 11th or better in like 3 of his last 5 starts. Yep. And then the big thing for me is he's putting really well. Like, you talked about how he's not 3-putting. He's like top 30 on tour in strokes gained putting, which that has always been his weakness. So if he's making putts and then hitting moon balls on top of that, all it takes is a good iron week from him. And he could, go crazy this week. Like, this is the kind of course that his driving distance, because he has distance and then he has some left in the tank, which not many guys have. He can really kind of use that to his advantage. And he hits, even if, say, it kick up, and you got to be a little bit safer off the tee because you don't want to be hitting some of these hazards and stuff. We know he can hit that stinger all day long. And even on a 7,700-yard golf course, it's not going to be too much for him.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple other players to talk about before we hop over to our last fun new segment of the week. Sungjae Im, 125 to 1 via FanDuel. This was a name that you popped out here.
Man, Sungjae, to me, the betting books have not caught up yet with who he is, what he does.
Crazy.
And just remember that this is a course that putting – you can kind of throw out the window a lot of years. Like, there's a lot of years. Yes, there's been the years that Reed won where he made everything, but there's a lot of other years where putting has not been the key. And there's very few people that can go on a tee to green ball striking clinic like Sungjae Im can. And if I'm just getting 125 to 1, I'm going to keep taking, like, I want to get ahead of that, right? Because I believe in Sungjae Im. I believe in his talent. I think, again, in an event where we're only got, 70-something players in the field, getting 125 to 1, but I still think one of the best ball strikers on the planet, I'm gonna throw a few dollars on it.
Yeah. And over his last 36 rounds, obviously this is stretched out a little bit farther for him than some players just due to him taking some time off with the injury. But he's 17th on approach from 200 plus over his last 36, 9th around the green. He's 8th in the field in Bermuda putting over his last 36 rounds.
Wow.
It's not often we get to talk about Sungjae Im being a top 10 putter on any surface.
Didn't have that on my bingo card for sure.
Like you said, the value 125 to 1 for Sungjae, a guy that we know can compete on tour, makes a ton of sense here. And then this one should be no surprise. It's Sudarshan, Yellamaraju, 96 to 1. He's definitely one of, if not the best long iron player on the planet right now. He's 2nd in the field in overall approach proximity from 200 plus. He's top 15 in driving distance, top 15 putting on Bermuda, top 20 at 3-putt avoidance over his last 16 rounds, 7th in strokes gained total. Like, yeah, we don't have necessarily the track record of him. We don't have 36 rounds of him playing on these comparative courses. It's the dude's first year on tour. It's no surprise. But this is a course where it fits his game. Like he struggles around the green. That's really the wedge game is not what it needs to be week in and week out. But again, this is a course where if the rest of your game is playing really strong, if you're able to hold these greens and can make your putts and avoid those 3 putts that you'll run into, there's no reason he can't compete. And if I'm going to keep getting him, he's in that, like, if it's 70-1 or longer range for me right now, just the talent is there. 70-1 or longer, I'm clicking suitor every week.
Right? Yeah, I'm with you. You get him 2-1 to top 20 on DraftKings. I think that is very good value. And I even like even more, plus 550 to top 10. Like both of those, like, the 2-1 to top 20, I kind of would be shocked if he doesn't finish top 20. For what this course takes, I think he's going to just gain so many shots on the field with his distance and his ability to hit great quality iron shots from 200 plus yards, because since the remodel, it is a second shot golf course, which I know sounds insane with the distance, but they're pretty complex greens where a lot of runoff areas, etc. Got to get it to the right spot. You said it. He's first on tour from 200 plus yards. So if we're getting 50-60% of the approaches coming from that distance, that's going to be an advantage for him. And you're getting 2-1 to top 20. Like, sign me up.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that is it for our plays this week. Again, join the IBT Golf family to get our full betting cards for the week. But we do have a fun new segment that we want to debut for you guys here. So we'll see you quickly on the other side of this drop.
Spin, pick, win.
All right, guys. So we are debuting our partnership with Fantasy Spin. For those who aren't familiar with Fantasy Spin, this gives you a different type of daily fantasy experience. Fantasy Spin lets you spin your lineups, make your picks, and compete in tournaments based on real player performances, just like DFS, but with some of the fun of us gamblers over here who love us a slot machine where you can absolutely hit the jackpot. It definitely is a game of skill where you have to still be able to understand the players that you're getting, understand your projections versus the in-app projections. But I've been having a ton of fun with Fantasy Spin since I started using the app. I've taken home a few different tournaments. With this, you have tournaments on here. So here, I'll just scroll through. So the example of what you get on the PGA side of things, you get the main event, you get winner take all fields, you get your head-to-head events. For some of the bigger events too, they have various opportunities to get more spins, and we'll debut this here. So we're going to enter this as an official lineup for me this week. This is going to be one of my 3 entries into the main event. So let's go ahead and start this off. And it's important to note, guys, whether you can play this for free as well. You do not have to play with cash. You can play for free. As you see, they have the practice mode. They also have a mode where instead of playing with cash, you can play with the in-game coins to still get yourself that feeling of playing DFS without having to invest the money into
Something I love about this site is that if your guy, say, is a late scratcher, for me, I've already drafted lineups with Patrick Cantley. I'm not in trouble because I'm going to get his projected point total. They always throw in whatever the projected. So I'm guaranteed in the lineups that I have him 94.5 points. Like,
exactly.
That's not too shabby. Like, it actually ended up working out well for me in some of these events. So the basketball is huge. Like, I know we've all been there where a guy gets hurt early and it's like, what? They give you automatically the projection if there's, unforeseen circumstances to where they end up not playing, which is great.
Absolutely. So guys, make sure you check out the link in the description and use promo code IBT Golf. If you deposit at least $10 and play at least one tournament with that $10, you will get $30 in bonus play. This supports our channel directly. It supports Fantasy Spin as well. They're a great team over there. I've been working with them even prior to their partnership with in between over here. So it's a group of guys that I love, and it's a product that I love, and I've absolutely had a blast playing. So let's start this off, and you guys will get to see what this experience is actually like for players. So once you enter the $5 to play this tournament, you get these spins that are on the board here. So we'll go ahead and we will do our first spin.
No money,
see
no
what
money,
we
no
get.
money. Just kidding. Because I am in this contest 3 times.
So as you will see, if you hit the jackpot, quote unquote, if you get one of the top 10 projected players in the field, it'll pop up for you, but it shows you the player projections here. So Keith, you and I are entering this lineup together.
Oh, I didn't know it was together. I take back my no money, no money, no money.
Or it'll just be for me. That's fine. But we're going to talk out my picks together. How about that?
I love that Suter's up to 100 projected because, you know, I had to stick with Suter in any lineups. I got him, like, whether or not that's smart or not, he's my dude. So I would lock him and Gotterup both in.
Bingo. So when you get that, you get to click on the player and you can lock the player into your lineup. As you can see on the top of the screen here, each event you'll get a various number of spins and a various number of locks depending on how large the event is. So we're going to go ahead and use 2 of our locks in on Chris Gotterup and Sudarshan Yellamaraju. Now, that being said, even though we've locked these 2 players in, if we get spins that are playing in our favor a little bit later, we can unlock these players and reopen that spot. So that's a great option where if you have a guy that you're feeling good on, you can, and you get, say you like JJ Spawn this week. He's the 17th ranked player, is the 17th highest projection in this field. You can lock him in now. And if you see your lineup changing in a way, say you want Spawn to be a boomer bust play versus a safe play or vice versa. Say you get say Spawn's your safe guy and you don't end up getting a handful of boomer bust guys in those other spots and you want to free that Spawn spot back up later on, you can. But so as we go through the spins here, we get Colin Morikawa, who is technically the defending champion of this event, not at Doral. Right. But even with the injury, as you can see, his performances have still been strong. He's scoring over 100 points in most of the events that he's played recently. We're going to go ahead and lock. I would lock actually
Connors in too, because again, you can always unlock him. I really like Corey Connors this week. It was somebody that we did not bring in for DraftKings at 6,900 range. He's just very safe on these kind of courses. And again, it's not going to hurt to have him locked. And eventually, you know, you can unlock one of the other ones. It does obviously free up one space, but it can always get worse. That's one thing I've learned from the spins.
It certainly can always get worse. I'm going to risk it. I like to risk it a little bit here. We still have 8 spins left, so let's keep on going here. Sam Stevens, Hideki, Sam Burns.
I like Burns this week.
I don't dislike him. I wish he was cheaper in DFS. I wish the odds were a little bit more favorable, but we'll lock him in here. We'll use him.
Burns, man.
And, you know, this is, again, all top 10 players in the projections that we've locked in so far. So let's see what else we get here. Tom Hoge, JT Poston.
Spin it again.
Solid players, but going to spin it again here. Straka, he's projected high. I'm never taking Sepp Straka on a 7,700-yard course. I'm good there. Homa, trending in the right direction, but still – I'm going to take advantage of the spins that I have. Ricky Castillo.
Oh, see, this is where
Gary Woodland.
You know,
this is where it gets interesting. Now, if we wanted to, we could call it here. I could lock my lineup in, and we could not use these spins. I don't love Castillo this week. Even though I love Woodland, I don't want to unlock anybody else. So I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to hope that we get a couple good players. Ben Griffin, Ryo Hisatsune. Not bad.
Terrible. No.
We're going to risk it again. Poston and Hoagie again popping up for us. They really want me to have this combo. I'm going to pass. Harman and Castillo. And so now this is what happens. I have 1 spin left. Do I take Castillo and Harman, or do I risk it and just take what I get? I'm going to risk it and take what I get. Andrew Putnam, JT. It's not bad. It could be worse.
I would rather have that than the Castillo Harman.
Exactly. So as you see here, it gives us the rank of every player that we've drafted. It gives us the projection of every player that we've drafted. And based on the entries that are in the tournament so far, it gives you your projected finish. So just based off of this lineup, of every lineup that has been drafted so far, this is the 4th highest projection of people who have entered into this event this far. So we're going to this is going to be one of my lineups. I will share the results with you guys. But again, this is a new partnership for us. I love the team over there. I love the product. So make sure to check out the link in the description and use promo code IBT Golf. Deposit $10 and play a tournament. You will get $30 in bonus play. As I said, it supports the program. It supports Fantasy Spin. And it's just a really fun, unique look at the DFS world, and it's really fun if you are like me and you love when you get the big explosions on the slot machines. So make sure to check that out, guys. But that will be it for us this week on the 19th hole. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Parry_FF. You can find Keith on Twitter at Keith Flemming. We will share all of our work as well on our channel or on our Twitter pages. So make sure to check out that. We'll post all of our work and all of our shows that we do over there. Make sure to join the IBT family if you have not yet. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to take advantage of everything that we have to offer here. And we will see you all at our next tee time.